All right. So, don't really feel like speaking much today. Still feel a little slow, a little quiet. But the theme of the week that we gave is love and letting go. And yesterday we sort of spoke about that as a whole orientation. Like, what else really makes sense? Like, that's a recipe for a gracious passage through this strange old life. Loving and letting go, loving and letting go. We explored a little what that might be. A love that's not transactional, a love that's not given or received, but rather is kind of at the heart of everything, that is the essence of everything, that sense that we can have, that all of this is somehow its most fundamental substrate or texture is that of love. And without getting into the metaphysics of that or the ontology, right, trying to figure out whether that's true or not, or how that's true or not, whether something is real or not is very overrated. Everything can be seen as both real and unreal, and one can neither prove or disprove the realness of anything. You get into trouble if you say everything's real. Oh, you get into trouble. You've given things too much solidity. If you say, oh, nothing's real, oh dear, you've deprived yourself of everything somehow. It's one of the categories the Buddha most beautifully speaks to and explores clinging, right? That which clinging in Buddhist language is that way we have of fixating around something. We harden something by fixating around it with our thoughts, right? So we have a thought, oh, I would like something. Just some desire appears in the mind, completely natural. Oh, that looks beautiful. I want that. And that's okay. Just normal. I mean, that's what thought does. That's what mind does. It produces thoughts. And yet then we harden around the thought. Oh yeah, I should have that. How can I get that? I'll only be okay if I have that. Right? That's the hardening. That's the contracting. That's the clinging. Until that thing seems somehow imperative, until my well-being is dependent on me getting that thing. And we harden around our views. Well, what I think is, and I think people should be doing this, and I think the world is like that. Nothing wrong with having views. We have to have views. We exchange views, and we try to hold views that have some kind of resonance. We try to hold wise views, compassionate views. Nothing wrong with views, except how easily we harden around our views. And the hardening takes the form of, I'm right. My view is the best view. I'm right and you're wrong, and you should listen to me. And if you don't agree with me, then you're a bad person. And then all the conflicts of the world, right? What are the origins of all the conflicts of the world? Hardening around views. And we harden around our ways of behavior as well. Harden around social norms. Harden around the ideas of what's normal and what's not normal. What's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And that easily becomes who's acceptable and who's not acceptable. Whose lifestyle is acceptable. Whose choices are acceptable. And then you get these societal norms that end up, giving rise to the prejudices, whether that's the usual ones, racism and homophobia and some demonization of immigrants and all that stuff playing out in the media landscape, or whether it's just closer to home in our family situation. In the ways we can harden around that sense of what family is and what it should be, how my parents were to me and how they should have been and what they did wrong, and all the problems or complexes that I've developed as a result of that. Wow. And all the stories we can tell ourselves. And the thing is, excuse me. Ooh, sorry, I should have turned the mic down for the sneeze. The thing is, those stories have some truth to them. That's what makes them so compelling. But do you really want to cling to your story? Do you really want to cling to that sense of oneself as a kind of poor me, and all the things that have happened to me? So I'm just closing applications so my computer doesn't beep at me. There we go. That's the wisdom of letting go. Love. Love where you can. When you can, just love. Love and let it in, love and let it pass by, love and, keep giving up your own reactivity. And then sometimes you can't love. I've gotten tight. I've contracted around something I want or something I don't want. Something I think or believe, or something, that you think or believe. Some story about the way people are, the way I am, the way that I should be. Or then that subtle category, but it talks about then the way we contract around existence and non-existence. Things are real or they're not real. Something exists or it doesn't exist. There's a self or there isn't a self. Wow, man, human beings, we can get so rigid. And that's maybe the ultimate form of rigidity, or at least the most subtle form of rigidity. It's being rigid around these two categories of things existing or not existing, of me existing or not existing, of God existing or not existing. So what's the middle way? Is it just some kind of, well, I don't know. I don't know if I exist or not. I don't know if God exists or not. I don't know if things are real or not. No, it's not that. It's rather to look deeply into where we contract, where we make things real and solid, or where we dismiss things and push them away, where we get caught in existence and non-existence. And so that's, in a way, that's what the letting go part of practice is. It's letting go, not letting go of desires. You hear that a lot in Buddhist teachings, the idea that you just let go until there's no more desires. Ridiculous. Desire is it's as normal for desire to arise as it is for the sun to rise. What are you going to try and practice hard enough to stop the sun rising? So we're not letting go of desires, not letting go of views, letting go of that tight fist of grasping, of clinging, of contracting. We're learning to let go of being so tight, so fixated around desire. Letting go of being so right about the views we hold. Then we can actually just navigate more lovingly. Navigate more lovingly through this realm of desire. That's what in Buddhist language, this realm, what is it? This is the desire realm. It's the realm of sense desires. It's the realm where we're in bodies with senses, and the senses produce desires. Oh, I want to see nice things. I want to hear nice things. I want to taste nice things. I want to feel nice things. I don't like seeing horrible things. I don't like hearing. Okay, that's the material we got. What are you going to try and do? You're going to try and let go until that stuff disappears? No, that stuff will disappear all too soon. Any day now or any decade now, this sense realm will have gone. These senses will fade. And it'll be too late to make good use of this extraordinary realm, this realm of great fortune. So in Buddhist language, you talk about these other realms where where this kind of inner exploration isn't possible. The hell realms, where beings live in such a tortured state. And you don't have to think of these as other planes of existence. Well, you can think of them as that, but we can see all these realms within our own world. People living in tortuous states of mind, people living in tortuous circumstances, or people, even when circumstances are good, caught in the grip of addiction, for example, in the way that they're living in a hell realm of pain, and the attempt to assuage that pain, and their capacity for any inner reflection just isn't available to them. Or the hungry ghost realms. The hungry ghosts are pictured as beings with great big bellies and tiny, tiny mouths. They're always trying to fill this empty, hollow belly. And again, you don't need to look to some mysterious other realm for that. Just look at our world. Maybe look at oneself. Sometimes we can get caught in a hungry ghost realm, right? That realm of trying to feed something that feels hollow inside, empty inside, trying to fill a hole of loneliness or of sadness or of doubt or of separation or of existential angst or of confusion. And so we try to fill it. We try to fill it with possessions, or we try to fill it with food, or we try to fill it with getting approval from other people, or we try to fill it even with Dharma practice, or with therapy, or with trying to solve my problems, or with trying to get my parents to admit how outrageous they were, or whatever it is. Hungry ghost realm. It's hard to practice when you're caught in the realm of being a hungry ghost. Because a hungry ghost just believes that if I can just get enough, fill enough. And then there's the Tushita realms, the godly realms, the realms where beings are so surrounded by choice and pleasure that their mind just doesn't turn to practice. And again, you don't need to look to another realm. Just look to the lives of the rich and shameless. Look in the covers of those sort of glossy magazines, or they probably don't exist anymore, or you look on celebrity gossip websites or something. Those are the realms of the people lost in materiality, lost in pleasure and attainment. But otherwise, here we are, humans in a human realm, a sense realm, a realm where there's actually a balance of pleasure and pain. Enough pleasure to kind of sustain us and to sustain a sense of momentum and motivation. Enough pain to remind us, oh, this is samsara. So it's just the right balance in which to love and let go. Love and let go. That's our practice, friends. And I don't want to speak for any longer because, hey, I'd like us to sit together. So take your seat for meditation. So please, sit like you mean it. That doesn't mean doing anything or trying to be any particular way. It means really allowing your attention to gather and settle and really come into the feel of being here. The aliveness of body. The felt experience of breathing. The swelling of the in-breath and the softening of the out-breath. entering into presence. Entering into presence by attending to our direct experience in a way that's loving, gentle, friendly, receptive, allowing of that which is felt and letting go. Letting go again and again of stray thoughts, weird thoughts, any old thoughts, unhelpful thoughts. Letting go of tensions with each out breath. Letting go of the need for things to be any particular way. It's like this that we practice together. loving awareness. Meeting this moment, this breath, in a way that's gentle, receptive, open, contactful, and letting go. Cultivating a mind of non-clinging, allowing the relaxation in each breath. Allowing the endless stream of distracting thoughts that might pull at your attention, just allowing them to dissolve again and again. Softening the grip on all those stories and images. Love and let go. Loving what's here, whether you like it or not. Letting go of the fixations, contractions and reactions we have. It's like this that our practice deepens. just now, what is love in this moment with this experience? Just now, what is it to let go, to soften your grip? If there's some discomfort, bodily discomfort after 30 or 40 minutes of sitting, some emotional discomfort with some difficult life situation that you're aware of, some other sensory discomforts, maybe unpleasant sounds in the building where you are or the space around. And letting yourself find out what is it to be loving in the presence of the unpleasant, the uncomfortable. To be gracious and spacious. To be simple and discerning. To be tender. May our practice be sincere and steady. May our heart be as wide as the world. May our capacity to love and to let go, may that keep deepening endlessly. May our lives be an expression of that which we most deeply value, for the unimaginable benefit of ourselves and each other and those we love, all those we have contact with, and all of life everywhere. All right. Good. Oh, it's good. It's good. It's good to sit. Good to be together. Good to lean the heart in the direction of the true and the beautiful and the profound, the liberating. Yeah. So a little time for questions. Anything that's on the heart or in the mind, anything you might want to give a little air or exploration to. Feel free, really. Here's the opportunity for that. And a couple of reminders. Firstly, just Sangha Live and Dana, and the fact that all of this is freely offered, and that free offer comes with the invitation to also to offer freely. That sense of that's rather than this being transactional, this is based on us all mutually freely offering to each other. Offering a sense of offering that which is good. So that's why Sangha Live was created. That's what it's here for. That's what everyone's working with. That's why teachers show up, wanting to freely offer teachings, practices, benefit Sangha community. And of course, there's many costs associated with doing that, holding the platform together and supporting everyone. And so the invitation is, please freely offer support. And to connect with that as an act of love. It might be a very small offering, but that literally is how Sangha Live has managed in it the whole 9 or I don't know how many years now. It's managed on people making many small offerings. There's no big philanthropic benefactor in the background sort of subsidizing Sangha Live. Not at all. So even though you might make a dana offering, that's really just a few euros. That's good. And you might make one that's much more. That's also good, And you might not be able to make any offering at all, and that's also good, So see where's the heart at? What's the situation in the pocket? And then you find some way of contributing what you can and how you can. So George can paste in the Dana link there. Here it comes. There it is. And then you have to see for yourself. And my encouragement always is just, please, when you make a Dana offering, just to connect with the sense that there's something beautiful about that is good. Just to connect with the goodness of heart, the fact that you've made a follow through between feeling some appreciation and actually demonstrating it. And whatever amount you're able to offer, of course you give some thought to that, but in the moment of offering, don't worry about the amount. Once you've decided, oh, I can, I can offer only €3, I think. Or, oh, I'd like to give €10. Or, oh, this is wonderful and my situation is fortunate. I want to give €50. Whatever it is, in the moment of offering, the amount is unimportant. In the moment, once you've decided, make it about the heart. It's beautiful. You're offering support, offering appreciation, offering gratitude. It makes a difference. It allows Sangha Life to be here. It allows me to, and other teachers to show up and offer teachings. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. And what was the other thing I wanted to say? Oh yeah, so I have some retreats here at the Mulan through the summer. I have an English language retreat that I'm teaching with Gail next week, I think. French language retreat the week after that. And both of those retreats have very few places, but they do have some places. I think there's 2 or 3 places on each retreat. So, maybe it's a bit late in the day, but if you feel like coming to the Mulan and you feel like being on retreat, here's the opportunity. There's another one as well, another English language retreat in middle of August sometime, I think. So it's just a reminder that, if that's your idea of a summer holiday, then please come along. All right. And George could maybe put in the link for the Mulan website or something, or you can find that on my website or on my Instagram or wherever. All right. Lucy says, how to hold this state of loving kindness in the face of the historical dimension. In the face of the historical dimension of trauma and damage the failed New York businessman and game show host will wreak upon the world should he get elected. Yeah. So here's all the political stuff, right? And the detail of that, the uncertainty of that, the strong dislike one might have of the candidate, etc. What's the question? I mean, so far I'm with you with all of that stuff, Lucy. And then, hold on, I'm going up and down because I'm missing the questions. They keep jumping around. Oh, it wasn't even the first question I see, but I'll go back up afterwards. How to hold this? So, firstly, don't try to hold any state. Holding a state is impossible. Second, I would say don't think of it as loving kindness. It's not a helpful word. Kindness, friendliness, kindness and friendliness. Loving kindness seems too much. And in fact, even I've been saying this for years, I don't think loving kindness is a good translation for metta. Literally, I mean, metta means friend. A mitra is a friend. Metta means friendliness. I don't know who translated it as loving kindness, but it's too saccharine. And I just very recently heard Joseph Goldstein saying that he's dropped the loving part and he just talks about kindness. It's like, it just feels like an easier thing rather than supposed to feel loving. You don't have to feel loving. Love isn't most essentially a feeling. And you don't have to hold any state. Your state will come in and out. What you want to do is friendly to whatever arises, including fear, anger, frustration, despair. You look at the politics, you're definitely going to feel all of those things, especially current politics. My God. I just saw Trevor Noah the other night, on Saturday night in Paris, and he was talking about, very skillfully actually, about the French elections and then about the American elections. He described the election as a choice between somebody who should be dead and somebody you wish was dead. I thought that was pretty good. And he was also talking about America as a land of choice. You go into a supermarket, there's so many breakfast cereals, there's so much massive choice of everything. And in a country where there's normally so much choice, these 2 candidates, this is the choice we've got. Anyway, so in the face of cognizant of all that stuff you say, the historical dimension, the damage, one can easily get overwhelmed, right? So the question is, what is it that you're trying to stay friendly to? What is it you're trying to stay friendly to? It's hard to stay friendly to him, and yet, it's something very, very uncomfortable, even just to see him speak for a half a minute, because one feels all the dysfunction and all the kind of negativity and that poor man's mind must be a very, very difficult, horrible place to live. But actually, when one sees that's where the compassion comes from. Recognizing one disagrees very fundamentally with him and with anything he might stand for, etc., etc., and yet, in there's a confused being, a fearful being, a lost being, a being whose heart is occluded, is kind of hidden, is covered over by all kinds of, narcissism and mostly narcissism. Actually, almost everything else just comes out of that kind of craving. And I know what that's like. You know what that's like, right? Maybe not quite at that scale, but we know what it's like to feel insecure and to try to be a hungry ghost, like I was saying earlier, to try to assuage our insecurity by, thinking that lashing out at somebody else, for example, is going to make us feel better. So that's one way, is that you recognize your solidarity, that you're not so different. Maybe scale is different, but we all know the same fundamental movements of heart. So there's that. And then there's also the friendliness to look at the resistance to those values that you don't believe in. Look at those who are kind of like, sending out flyers and knocking on doors and running local campaign offices and just, really showing up to do what they can to express their values, etc., etc. But the crucial thing, I think, Lucy, is not to imagine that the sense of loving kindness should just be there holding some state, and then there would be no fear, anger, despair, sense of hopelessness, etc. Those things are normal. I mean, our politics is on the one hand, it is actually more progressive, more nuanced, than historically it has been. Historically, different opposing parties just killed each other. So we've sort of moved on. I think that's worth remembering. And yet, we can see the dysfunction, and we can see the corruption, and we can see the pettiness, etc., etc. And so actually, it's to remain tender, gentle, friendly when those states show up, and to remain tender, gentle, friendly towards those states. Right? Rather than, I shouldn't be feeling angry or despairing, I should be feeling loving kindness. No. If anger and despair arise, bring that tenderness, that gentleness, that friendliness to those states. That's how they lose their kind of insidious grip on us. And then they can be more galvanizing. Man, this is not okay. I want to do something about this. Well, what can I do? What can I do? That's all a question we have to answer in our own different ways, in our own different circumstances, our own different capacities, our own different skills. All right, that was a long answer. I probably won't get to all the questions today, but let me get back up. Peggy says, how do we know when something we do to soothe suffering, like therapy, for example, comes from a useful place, and when it comes from a hungry ghost? Yeah, good question. And how to find the balance. So look at what's your intention, Peggy? What's your motivation? Not just your obvious motivation, but there's what we could call the endless self-improvement project. And that sense that, if I can just understand this, then if I can just get rid of this a blockage, if I can just understand this pattern. But patterns are endless. Blockages are endless. You never get to the end of the self-improvement project. And don't actually, when I say you never get to the end, you also never even just get better. Clearer. And that's not to dismiss therapy, which can be very, very useful and important. But it's to really see what am I expecting the outcome of this to be? And am I expecting the outcome to somehow be, as if I'll get it and then I won't have any more problems? And we might not say it like that because we know we'll still have some problems, but often that's the underlying hope. The hope that I'll manage to therapize my way out of problems. No chance. So maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. I was thinking of that, like, in terms of loving and letting go, and that process in terms of, when there's something to explore that needs exploring, something that won't yield, just to letting go. And also the other way around, when there's something we desperately trying to explore and kind of, we ended up just reinforcing it. Sometimes you're telling the story, oh, this is what happened and this is what it's like. You have to check and see, am I telling the story in order to dissolve it? Am I telling the story in order to see beyond it? Am I telling the story in order to bring up my relationship to it now so that I can relax around it, let go? Or, if I'm honest with myself, am I telling the story in a way that's just reinforcing it? Reinforcing a sense of me and my history and my wounding and my difficulty, and etc., etc. Yeah. So I'll speak more about that tomorrow morning, hopefully. Sometimes I come with the clear intention to speak about something in the morning and I end up speaking about something completely different. So we'll see. Katie says, I've been reflecting a lot about hungry ghosts. Is there a course or a talk on this subject on the Sangha Live website? Or are you or any other teacher planning to do one? I hadn't thought about doing something just about hungry ghosts, but yeah, it might be a good idea. I don't know. Actually, one of my teachers, Hamid Ali, or Almas, which is the name under which he writes, he has something which he calls the theory of holes, Holes. So he's not writing from the paradigm of a Buddhist teaching on hungry ghosts, but the theory of holes is to read the way he articulates that and explores it as the way we try to fill our holes. And we need to go into actually, we need to stop trying to avoid them, stop trying to fill them up, stop trying to distract them from them, go into them. The hole of deficiency, the hole of hopelessness, the hole of inadequacy, the hole of whatever the hole is. And it's brilliant. And the way he talks about our usual strategy for holes, it's like, oh, that's what the hungry ghost is. That's what that representation is, I think, of a small mouth, a long neck, a big stomach. It's like they're trying to fill our holes in a way that doesn't work. So you might just try doing a search for A.H. Almas, Almaas, writing on the theory of holes. And you'll find some article, some book references, some talks maybe online. Yeah. How are we doing? Time for one more maybe. Vanya says, how do you know the difference between spiritual bypassing and letting go? And why is letting go? I'm thinking especially about painful experiences. How do you let go while also holding someone to account? So, it tends to be avoidance or spiritual bypassing. We say let go, and the emphasis is on the go. I want to let go of that. And actually that's just a sort of, it sounds like letting go, but it's more about pushing away, getting rid of, etc. So, it's not incompatible to love somebody, but also do your business with somebody. To love somebody while saying no to them. To open your heart to somebody while closing your door to them. You can keep your heart open to them, but you don't have to open your home to them. Especially if there's somebody who, is untrustworthy or has been untrustworthy around you. Then, you need to, it's not incompatible to have a clear boundary, to say no, to be clear that the person's untrustworthy, etc. And also to do the inner work of tending to your hurt or resentment, the residue of the way you've been treated, and to to let the process of forgiveness, letting go of demonizing them or anger towards them, etc., to let that be a process. Forgiveness is a process. It's a process that goes through layers, usually of anger, hurt, resentment, etc. So you don't just switch, oh, I'm just going to let go of that. What? No, it doesn't work like that. But you make the boundary when that's important, and then you go tenderly through the layers of the fact that you've been hurt in some way, abused in some way, and that's the love and the letting go. Letting go, anupadana is the Pali word, and it really means it's like releasing the grip. Which is a much better sense, unhooking from, releasing the grip, right? Softening the contraction, unclinging, rather than letting go. Letting go, as I say, can easily sound a bit like getting rid of. So that sense of tending to what's happening and relaxing, tending and relaxing, loving and softening. Yeah. I'm sure we'll have other occasion this week to talk about that a little more as well. And if there are other questions that I didn't get to, I think there's at least one, maybe more, just please feel free to post them back in tomorrow. Yeah. All right, friends, please go gently through the day. Thank you for your presence and your practice. See you tomorrow.